going on, guys? Nollie the Gnome here, and I'm very excited for this video. This video is going to be different because unlike most of my videos, I'm just doing this one off the cuff. I was very excited to get the alpha, and I just want to share what I've learned about warlocks with you guys based on what I'm currently seeing in the alpha. This is my warlock I made. So this type of video, unlike some of the other videos I do, is more impromptu. And what I mean by that is it's very off the cuff, like I said. So I haven't rehearsed too much. I mostly just want to go in here. I want to take a look at the talents, give you my opinions on them, and what I've seen that's changed from the current live patch of Legion for my warlock to what's coming in Battle for Azeroth. Now, I'm sure you've already watched all the other successful, famous streamers and alpha users, and they all say the same thing. You know, everything is subject to change. Who knows what's going to currently be on the live version of Battle for Azeroth compared to what's currently going on in alpha. But we'll take a look anyways, because who cares? You know, it's exciting. I was excited I got the alpha, and I just like making videos. It's just fun. If no one watches this but me, I'll still enjoy it just because I enjoy making it. So let's just get started. So the first thing that I noticed when I logged in was I took a look at my talents, and there's something missing here. And that's my biggest filler spell, and that's Drain Soul. Now, as you can see, Drain Soul is not here yet, and I don't know if that means I'm going to unlock it at a higher level, or if it's just a placeholder for something else. I hope it's a placeholder for something else. Currently, I'm using Drain Life to keep myself alive, not really as a filler, just to keep myself topped up, and it's working fine. Besides that, when I use, I think it's called Demon Skin. When I use Demon Skin, like, it works. Like, I don't really need anything else. I use Demon Skin, and the damage from that is enough absorption that it keeps me up with my Void Walk around, just multi-dotting. So currently, despite not having the Drain Soul, warlocks are still fairly tanky. They're fairly self-healing. They're a hell of a lot of AoE. They AoE like non-stop. The Seed of Corruption, the Sow the Seeds for Seed of Corruption has not changed at all. From what little grinding I have done to make it to almost 112, I'm about halfway there, it's just been an AoE massacre. I have not seen other classes AoEing quite like this. Maybe Frost Mages, they probably can. I don't play Frost Mage. But if you like AoE currently in Legion, it seems to be pretty consistent. Maybe it's not as obnoxious as it was, but maybe the AoE packs won't be as obnoxious as they are in the Arcway. Like, when I go in the Arcway, I like 15 million damage in like a second, and that's just because, you know, my artifact weapon is proccing with the explosion, with the Seed of Corruption. It's just damage on top of damage on top of damage. So without the artifact weapon, it may not be as obnoxious, but it's still pretty prevalent. Like you're building up quite the shield and self-healing just from the Seed of Corruption. So that's great. So our first three talents are Shadow Embrace. A Shadow Bolt applies Shadow Embrace, increasing your damage dealt to the target by 3% for 10 seconds, stacking up to 3 times. It's interesting. There's Haunt. A ghostly soul haunts the target, dealing 1,777, now the numbers have been reduced, shadow damage, and increasing your damage dealt to the target by 10% for 15 seconds. Now that one probably is the most realistic choice. And the last one is Death Bolt, which launches a bolt of death at the target, dealing 40% of the remaining damage of your damage over time effects to the target. That's not bad either, but that doesn't match my personal playstyle. Now what I'm curious is, will it eat up the dots? When you use Death Bolt and it does the remaining damage of the dots now disappear, and do you lose your 10 stack? Because to me, that doesn't seem to make the most sense. I haven't played around with this yet. I've just, like I said, very bare bones, just sort of tried it and leveled very quickly just to get a feel for what the Warlock, see how different it was from Legion. So currently, I'm liking Haunt the most, but we'll see, you know, what changes happen as the future goes on. So, Wrath and Agony, it now ramps up to 15. I believe this was 20 back in Legion, and they dropped it down to 5 stacks. So it doesn't go up to 20 stacks anymore. I think it's just 15 stacks now, but that still seems not bad. Absolute Corruption, don't believe anything difference has really changed here. Corruption is now permanent, deals 15% increased damage as always. It's not bad, it's quite strong. It would probably do very well in AoE, because when you're using your Sow the Seeds and Seed of Corruption, it explodes, and you're doing that permanent 15% increased damage on Corruption. That's ticking like crazy. So for cleave fights, that may be good, but so would Wrath of Agony. You know, Wrath and Agony. Who cares? Who cares? In short, I think the Agony would still probably pull ahead, as Agony is probably one of our largest spells, only to be beaten by Unstable Affliction. The only thing stronger than Agony, I believe, is the Unstable Affliction. So I think Wrath and Agony is probably still going to win. Death's Embrace, excellent again for just that cleave damage. Agony, Corruption, Unstable Affliction, Seed of Corruption, and Shadow Bolt deal up to 40% damage. Increased damage on targets below 35% health. So all those moves have increased damage by 40%, and when the target is below 35% health, you do even higher damage. No, I lied. It only does 40% increased damage on targets below 35% health. I read that wrong. I apologize. Thank you for being patient with me. So this is the same. I believe it's pretty much the same. Maybe the numbers have been changed, but that's it. Like, it's perfect for cleaving, but I don't feel as a Warlock that's our job. I think our Warlock is sustained, heavy, sustained damage. We do a tremendous amount of heavy, sustained cleave damage, or heavy, sustained AoE damage. That's, I feel, our job. So I know everybody likes to be top of DPS meters, but I'd still rather not move and be consistent on AoE targets and let the other heavy cleavers focus on stuff like cleaving down or, you know, doing the execute phase, like warriors or rogues. They're really good at that. So while it's important for everybody to be top DPS, try to understand that sometimes your class is not your class. And if that's what you're looking for, maybe you should be playing a class that's more execute oriented. Just my thought. So Demon Skin, it's great. It's passive, keeps you alive. Don't have to worry about anything. The more damage you do, pretty much you heal yourself. You create a barrier for yourself. It's been in the game forever. It works very well, and it syncs really well. It meshes really well with the Warlock class. I love it, especially Affliction. Burning Rush, nothing has really changed for Burning Rush. Once again, it increases your speed boost. You take damage while your speed boost is increased. It increases your movement speed by 50%. Now, I believe they changed this. I thought it was at first 60%, so they may have reduced it by 10%, but I could be wrong. But regardless, Burning Rush is okay, but I only would use it in group situations because you take a lot of damage when you're trying to escape from mobs. Even though you're faster than them, taking damage isn't necessarily the best thing to do. Dark Pat, it's great. It's just a bubble. You take a little bit of health away from your demon, I believe. You take the damage. You absorb the damage into a shield. It's excellent. It works very well. Oh, it sacrifices your health. But it works well. It just works well. You know, it's good for taking a big burst, especially in raids. It works well. Once again, though, I think for PvE and just doing it yourself, Demon Skin is probably your best bet. Phantom Singularity is a garbage talent, and I'm sorry, Blizzard, if you're listening to this, but I don't know anyone that's used it. I used it at the beginning of Legion. I thought it was garbage. It's just not worth it. When comparing Phantom Singularity, which just does like AoE damage, to Soul Harvest or Sow the Seeds, both of them are remarkably better. Soul Harvest is phenomenal for single target. It increases damage that you and your pet do by 20%. It lasts for 4 seconds, and it's just increased by 6 seconds for each target affected by your agony, up to a maximum of 36 seconds. So if you're multi-dotting, once again, multi-dotting, this is favoring multi-dotting, it's incredible. And the Sow the Seeds is good for just heavy AoE explosion. But the Soul Harvest is still better for single target, primarily all the time, better for single target, or it's also good for multi-dotting. Now, the Phantom Singularity they're trying to make for single target here, I see what they're doing, because they're trying to emphasize that Soul Harvest does even greater damage if you're multi-dotting adds with your agony. But I just, Phantom Singularity seems too wonky to me, and I just don't force me to play just because it seems like the best option. It's a wonky mechanic, and I don't like it like Soul Conduit. A lot of you people possibly forgot what Soul Conduit is, but I still have post-traumatic stress from Soul Conduit. That's when I would have to dot up the boss, dot up my Soul Conduit to do damage to the boss as well as my Soul Conduit. But I now had to watch an extra ad that no one else saw because I was the only one that was attacking it, the Soul Conduit. So they removed that because it was a terrible talent. And I feel the same way about Phantom Singularity. Maybe you guys will disagree with me. We'll see. I'd love to know in the comments. Dark Fury reduces the cooldown of Shadow Fury by 15 seconds. It's a passive. Shadow Fury is a great AoE. I'm glad we got it back. I think they took it away from us and gave it to us as a talent, or just Destruction Warlocks have it. I don't really use this one. I believe I use one of the other talents. I think I use Death Coil. I think I use in replace of Shadow Fury. I'm a terrible Mortal Coil. See, I'm a terrible Warlock with the names. I know what the abilities do. I'm a terrible Warlock with the names. Kill me. Mortal Coil, same as always, horrifies enemies into fleeing and incapacitating them for 3 seconds and healing you for up to 20% of your maximum health. It's good. It's a no shit button. That's essentially what it is. It's a no shit button. But Demonic Circle is the bread and butter of most Warlocks. Like, as good as keeping the rogue away from you, they're pretty much going to Cloak of Shadows out of the Mortal Coil. The Demonic Circle, in my opinion, is still always the best talent. It's thinking ahead. It's putting the portal down there, running over to the guy, and then porting back if you need to. And that, in my opinion, is the smartest, most tactical thinking talent available in our toolkit for Warlocks. In order of survivability, I think Demonic Circle is the best choice, but it may change. Nightfall. Corruption damage has a chance to cause your next Shadow Bolt to be instant and deal 25% increased damage. Now this is awesome, because this procs a lot, and I don't know if that's intended, but if it is intended, it's amazing, because wow does it ever proc a lot. Like, you're firing more instant cast Shadow Bolts than you're currently casting Shadow Bolts. That's what it seems like, at least. The middle talent says coming soon. We don't know what that is yet. Very excited to see. Very, very excited to see what they come out with. Grimoire Sacrifice doesn't really work for Affliction, I feel. To sacrifice your demon for power, gaining its command ability, and causing your spells to sometimes deal 784 additional shadow damage. It's okay. Maybe this will come into play at higher levels of rating when you're not relying on your demon and the tanks taking the hits, and you're just... This may be like a lone wolf for hunters. When you have enough gear and you don't have to worry about getting hit by anything because the tanks are taking all the hits and you're just free casting, this may pull ahead. But I'm not at that point yet. We're not even, like, Battle for Azeroth is still in alpha, not even in beta yet, so there's no chance of rating yet, so we don't know if this is going to be a valuable talent, but I could see where it could have value. And it's interesting. I like where they're sort of going with Warlocks. They're sort of saying the option for single target heavy damage is there, but we're really trying to show you guys that you're really good at sustained cleave damage, sustained and AoE cleave damage. You're really good at sustained damage, and I like that. Just putting pressure. That's what Affliction's supposed to be, more than anything. It's putting a lot of pressure. Whether it's in PvE or PvP, you're not putting a burst pressure where it's hard to... Sometimes it's unpredictable, but you're just consistently always there, slowly decaying the enemy team or the boss, annoying them. The healer's constantly having to heal everybody because the dots are just constantly decaying at their health. And it's just... Eventually, they just can't keep up. They just can't keep up with the dots, and that's what a Warlock is. You outlast them. And that's why I love this class, and that's what it seems like these new talents are doing, and I'm really excited for that. Soul Conduit. Soul Conduit, as we all know, every soul shard has a chance to be refunded by 15%. It's great. You just, this is pretty much just spamming that unstable afflictions, essentially. Like, it's not bad. It's okay, but I currently like Creeping Death a little bit better. Now, Creeping Death, your Agony, Corruption, and Stable Affliction deal the full damage 15% faster. That's like the Legendary Helm, currently available on steroids, and that to me is really neat. That, at least for solo leveling and leveling up, it works really well because it makes me able to solo mobs a lot easier. It allows me to burst them down a little bit quicker, and while I was going on this entire time about saying Warlocks are a sustained class, they are mostly a sustained class, but you do run out of mana too, and this allows for that balance where you're mostly doing sustained damage, but at a fast enough rate that you're still killing them before you're running out of mana and having to kite them around. Things seem to die at a reasonable rate with Creeping Death. When I was using Soul Conduit, it seemed to take a little bit longer. So the Creeping Death seemed to make the leveling process a little bit more reliable. The Siphon Life works great. It's just for self-sustainability. It heals you. It's like another dot. If you feel you don't have enough in your rotation and you have a little bit more room for pressing buttons, Siphon Life is great for that. It Siphon targets Life Essence, dealing 2,659 damage over 15 seconds and healing you for 30% of the damage done. So it heals you for 30% of the damage it does to the enemy. Pretty simplistic, it's fun. But that's pretty much it. So we're going to get into combat now just to see how Warlocks perform. Really excited for this. So I hope you guys enjoyed this style of video. I apologize if the clicking of my keyboard and mouse is bothering you. I have a mechanical keyboard and a Razer Naga, so it tends to click sometimes. If there's a way to avoid that, please let me know, as I would love to change it for next time. So if there's any tips, comments, or tricks you guys can give me, please do. I don't know what's going to happen when I click this, so it may be a spoiler, so be mindful. Spoiler, 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 spoiler. You have been warned. And there you go. That was all for nothing. So I just handed a quest. I don't know when the cinematic's going to happen or what's going to happen, so I don't want to ruin anything for you guys. I know I'm excited for Alpha, but I don't want much of the story myself ruined. I'm just trying to enjoy the leveling process and see how Warlocks are turning out. So we're just going to go to somewhere where we can fight a couple of mobs. I'm not even necessarily interested in doing some more of the quests, as I would just really like to show you guys what we can do and how powerful Warlocks are and how we're currently playing. But it looks like we're actually going somewhere now. Something I must also say, sort of unrelated to Warlocks, is just I'm really impressed with the architecture of this specific of Battle for Azeroth as a whole. Like, they're all interesting, but the troll architecture I'm a sucker for. But everything just seems so big. Like, it's huge. It's crazy. And when I first played Legion, and I learned about the Nightborn, and my girlfriend and I were exploring Suramar City, and we were learning about the history of the Nightborn and how they escaped the Night Elves and all that, I was thinking to myself, like, this is really involved for World of Warcraft. They've done a lot of stuff, but they've never done something as big as Suramar City. Like, Suramar City is obnoxiously large, and not in a bad way. I'm really impressed with how much attention to detail they put into that, and I feel that they've really learned from that, and they've taken strides in Battle for Azeroth to do the same thing. All of these zones are so intricate. There's so much detail. There's so many nooks and crannies, and it feels so much more immersive. I really feel a lot of these places sort of seem cliche of what we're expecting to see in, like, this type of game, but Suramar City seemed like more than that. It seemed like almost like a really intelligent, like an intelligent, like the way a robot would perceive the way we perceive the world. Let me give you an better example than that. I'm just slaughtering what I'm trying to say here. If we were to be put into a simulation, and a robot were to try to simulate how they felt we saw the world, Suramar City was pretty close as far as World of Warcraft comes. I was really impressed with how much attention to detail Suramar City put into something that emulated our reality. And I feel Battle for Azeroth is emulating our human reality better than any Warcraft expansion has ever done previously. The open world is so huge. It is so advanced, and there's so much attention to detail. It's almost overwhelming. So for people to say that, like, they feel like this expansion is going to be a small one or redundant or they're bored of it, I just can't see it. At least not yet. Everything is way too big and massive and involved to give it that small feel. That, like, I'll give you an example. The Broken Shore, or Argus specifically, was supposed to be this epic end to this giant story. We're finally putting an end to the demons. I just didn't feel it. Argus seems like the Timeless Isle to me. And I'm like, I don't care that we're here. I don't care we're doing anything. None of this seems as epic as you want it to make it seem. But this stuff does. The story does. The architecture does. The characters do. The sound, the music, everything. Whatever you're doing, it all came together. I don't know if you guys have secretly hired Chris Metzen again or what's going on, but you guys have hit the nail on the head. And please don't stop, because this has brought back what people have missed in this game for so long. I'm really excited for Battle for Azeroth, just because the story, man. Like, I'm in marketing. That's what I do, and I always tell people, if you want to sell something to someone, you have to lead with the story, because stories convey emotions, and people don't realize the importance that is a story. Everything comes back to story. We like stories. The reason why we feel close and connected to things is because of the stories that are involved, the origin stories. That's why we care for characters in movies, because of the stories. So I feel that they've done an excellent job with this. We always liked World of Warcraft because it's had a very in-depth, well-detailed story, and we felt that they dropped the ball with that during Warlords of Draenor. Well, I feel that they picked the ball back up in this one. I feel in Legion they were trying. They weren't quite there yet. They were trying, and you could see that they were trying. They've really listened to people. They were trying to follow feedback, and they've been great at listening, and these questions and answer developer updates, like, they're awesome. The transparency has been phenomenal. I know people aren't happy. People are never happy. But I think Ion and Josh Allen, all those guys, I think they've been doing a phenomenal job. I'm excited to see what comes of this. I think people are too attached to their memories, and the memories are never the same as reality. That's one thing, and people always like, well, it's never going to be what it used to be. Of course, no, it's not. Like, how do you deal with things in life? Things change. That's life. Like, you're never going to be the same person, and this game is never going to be the same. But what you can do is try to look for things in the future that may be better than what's currently happening, and that's what they're trying to do. So, like, even Vanilla WoW, it's still never going to be the same, because you're not 14 again. When you were 14 and you never played a game like Warcraft, and then you play Warcraft for the first time, it's like, oh my god, this is a mind-blowing experience. But when you already know what everything is, and you're jumping into it again, it's not going to have that same nostalgic feel that you're looking for. I know that's not what you want to hear, but it's the truth, and it is what it is. I'm not saying, Vanilla's going to be bad. Vanilla's going to be a lot of fun, but people forget how difficult Vanilla is as well. That's all. See how fast it procced? So while I'm talking here, I'm fighting. Look, procced again. That's what I mean. It's like, it procs a lot. It's pretty great. So it's a really good talent. That talent that makes that proc is Nightfall. So if you're playing on the alpha, play around with Nightfall. Let me know what you think. I think it's great. So we're gonna do some quests now, just so you can get a feel for how the Warlocks are playing. So I'm gonna try my best just to kite, but there aren't many mobs here. But like, as you can see, like that guy was helping me kill him. But I mean, stuff goes down fast. Like I never felt threatened. Like even leveling characters now in Legion, my characters feel more threatened than this Warlock currently does. So let's pull a couple mobs just to give you an example of what they can do. This guy's bugged, I think. Yep. So here's a problem. See, you can't walk upstairs. When you try to walk upstairs, you go through, and I will fall through the world if I keep going forward. So I'm not going to do that. So he's evading. I can't pull him. So we'll pull this guy. We'll pull this guy. See all these people we're pulling? So wait, let's pull a little bit more. Let's try to get... So obviously I'm taking some damage now. Now we'll see the corruption. Watch. And watch what happens. So as you can see, like, I mean, I feel pretty tanky. My pet's dead, and I still don't really feel that scared for my life yet. Even though my life's just... See, like, it's not that bad. I'm not really losing much health. I could summon my pet. I'm playing with one hand while talking. I'm not paying attention. My rotation's all wonky. I'm taking so many casts to the face, and I'm still... There's no chance of me dying. As low life as I seem, I'm just going to sit here draining life back to full health. Assuming any of you have played Warlocks, you'll know, like, this is a pretty normal feeling. Like, you're not that low. You're just not. Drain life, and we're back to full health again. You see? It just keeps ticking away. Like, they'll never outdamage me because the drain life is pretty much taken over. And then these. And if I were to interrupt that, like, that dot is doing more damage than anything, more than their cast. It's not their Shadow Bolt, it's their dot. So if I were to damage that, I would, like this guy, he's dotting me now up to. It's 3 stacks. That's why if I were to lose the 3 stacks, it wouldn't hurt as much. We'll still survive. And then we'll hit this guy with the drain life. And I'm not draining his life because I was draining his shield. That makes more sense. I gotta summon my demon. Oh, this guy's helping me. It's very nice of him. But, like, I still had stuns. I should have had health stones out. Like, there's so many things available in my toolkit that I didn't even bother using. I still had right here, Shadow Bulwark. Didn't use that either. My point is, like, Warlocks are tanky. That was a very poor attempt at trying to survive. I was literally doing that with one hand. And my Razor Naga. And I still survived. Didn't have a demon out, still survived. So you can imagine when you have your full toolkit and actual talents and some decent gear, how well you'll do. So let's do one more pull to show you guys an example. Hopefully I haven't bored you guys out of your mind too much yet. And we'll just show you guys one real good AoE pull with all of our full toolkit, which is like health stones and all that jazz implemented. We'll eat, and we'll show you guys what Warlocks can do. And then I would love for you guys to let me know if you cared for this type of video at all. Because if this video brought you value, that would mean a lot to me. Or if it didn't bring you value and you hate my guts, let me know that too, because then I'll stop making these videos. I enjoy learning to edit. I'm taking the skills that I'm learning through World of Warcraft, and I'm applying them to my business, because I'm learning to do videography. I want to learn to do videography and photography, primarily for products and restaurants. I think it would be a lot of fun. And I'm a poor editor, so I think that learning through something I'm passionate about, like World of Warcraft, can help. So you guys are helping me become more confident in my ability as an editor. So I want to thank you guys for the positive comments thus far. You guys have been incredible on Twitter and just messaging me through YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. I have read all the comments and the kind words, and I want to thank you guys because it doesn't go unnoticed. I appreciate you guys liking my work. It means a lot. I value your opinion, whether it's positive or negative, so to know that you guys are enjoying what I'm putting effort into, that it makes me feel good. That's all. So here's an example with the pet up. Not even going to heal it. Just going to fight. So these guys are bubbling, which has never happened before, but they're absorbing some of the damage, which is also fucking up my shield. But that's okay, because my pet still didn't die. But the bubbles have never happened before. Now, when they're bubbling, I have to break their bubble before they can actually take damage. And I think that's why, unfortunately, my pet's not getting bubbled. Because when I do damage, it should put a bubble around both me and my pet for the demon skin. But because I have to break through their bubble first, it's not actually constituting as damage, I don't think. So it's not going towards the bubble to keep my demon alive. If I was fighting any other mob that didn't have that bubble that you'd have to burst first, all damage would essentially cause my demon to take reduced damage through the shield that is created from demon skin. That's all. So it's a good something to look out for. Be mindful if someone's using bubble. That's all. So I want to thank you guys for watching. If you felt you've learned anything, if you haven't learned anything and I've just wasted all your time, let me know that too. But I want to thank you guys for watching. Until next time, Nollie the Gnome out.